Hello, people. Okay, continuing 9-1, we are on journal page 275. Awesome. We're going to review area and perimeter. Remember, area sounds like array. Okay, so we know we need to multiply side length. And perimeter, well, it sounds like the rim, like the outside of something. So that's the total length of the outside added up. Amazing. Okay, we're going to practice that. This one says, in the spring, the garden club will plant a garden. That sounds lovely. Each child will have 1 square meter of the garden to plant. Okay, on the left side, I drew a tiny little box, and this side length is 1 meter, and this side length is 1 meter, so all of the side lengths are 1 meter, so this is 1 meter squared, right? 1 square meter. So it's talking about this tiny little box right here. Okay, there are 16 children in the club. So the area of the garden will be 16 square meters. 4 children drew shapes for the garden below. Okay, so what do we know? We know there's 16 children total, so we need 16 square meters because each of them get 1 square meter. So if each child, if there's 16, each gets 1 meter, we need our garden to be 16 square meters. Okay, number 1 says, find the area of the shape. Remember, area sounds like array, so we know we're going to be multiplying the side lengths. Circle the shapes that have an area of 16 square meters. Cross out the shapes that do not have an area of 16 meters square. Okay, so it's 2 steps. First, we have to solve how many there are, how many square meters, and then we either have to cross it out or circle it, depending on what our answer is. So what is the area of 7 by 1 meter? Well, if I think about this like an array, this side length 7 and that one's 1. Well, what's 7 times 1? 7 times 1, any number times 1 is itself, so 7. We have 7 square meters. Well, let's look at it. Is 7 square meters, is that larger than 16? Is it 16? Does it count? Nope, that is too small. Only 7 children would get to plant the garden. That does not work for us. Okay, I'm looking at letter B. 4 meters by 4 meters. So again, I would do 4 times 4 because it's like an array. So 4 groups by 4 in each of them. What's 4 times 4? And maybe if you need help visualizing this, let's see. I know that will make 2 groups. Then if I cut them in half, that'll give me 4, right? So I have about 4 equal groups. Then I'm going to cut this in half, and I'm going to make these 4 different sections. Could I count up all these? Yes, but if we think about it like an array, it is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 groups of 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. Does that meet our requirements for the garden? You betcha. So let's circle it. That means 16 people could plant in the garden. Okay, now 16 meters, this really long one, times 1 meter. Would that work? Well, 16 times 1 equals what? Well, any number times 1 is itself, so it's 16. Amazing. Does that one work? Can we have 16 people plant in here? You betcha. So we're going to circle this garden because this garden works. Oh, this one's a little bit trickier. Now, I'm going to partition. That means to put my shape into parts, and we'll make smaller rectangles. So I only need to draw 1 line. I can either draw it here and have this rectangle and then this rectangle, or I could continue my line straight and I could have a really tall rectangle and then a shorter one over here. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my line right here. So immediately I know I have 2 rectangles that I need to figure out the area of. So this one and this one. But my bottom isn't 5 anymore because this total bottom is 5. But now I have this little part, which does not equal all of 5. And then I have another part over here. Well, oh my goodness, if we look at this, I know that this side length is 2 meters, so this also makes it 2 meters. And I know that this side length is 5 meters, so this side length is 5 meters. So I have a 5 by 2, 5 times 2 array that I can figure out the area. What is 5 times 2? What's 5 doubled? Okay, that's 10. Can I stop there? Is my answer 10 square meters? No, it's not, because we have another rectangle to find the area. Well, there was already a line here before making this 3. And look at this line, 2, plus this line, 3. Do you see how they both run the same length as a 5? 2 plus 3 is 5. That would make sense to me. Okay. But now we need the shape of this one, and I know that this top part was already 3, and this one still stays 2 because nothing was splitting that one. So 3 times 2 equals what? What is 3 doubled? It is 6. So now what do we need to do? I know that this is 10 meters squared, or square meters, and I know that this is 6 square meters. So what do I have to do with them? Well, I have to add them up. This can still be a garden, the shape of a garden. So I have 16 square meters. Does that work for us? Yeah. So the only one that didn't work was A. Okay, that makes sense. So we could make our garden in any of these 3 shapes, and that would make sense to me. All right, let's take a look at number 2. The club wants to build a fence around the garden, but they do not want to spend a lot of money. They need to find a shape that has an area of 16 square meters and the shortest perimeter. That word perimeter sounds like rim, so it's like the outside, so we know we're going to add up the side lengths. Which of the above shapes has an area of 16 square meters and the shortest perimeter? Okay. Well, we know, what do we know? We know that B, C, and D all have an area of 16 square meters, so they can all work. But we need to know which one's going to have the shortest perimeter. So just because they have the same area does not mean they have the same perimeter. How would I figure out the perimeter? I know this side is 4, so that means I know that this side is also 4. And I know that if this side is 4, then the same one on this side would be 4. So what is 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4? Or if I'm adding it, I could also say 4 times 4. Oh, that is 16 again. Okay. So the area and perimeter happen to be the same. Let's see what happens with the next one. Oops, that's a 16. It's not going to turn out super well. Okay, I'm just going to put it down here. 16. Great. Get rid of that. Okay. Now if this long side is 16, then what does the bottom side have to be? That one also has to be 16. Okay. And if the right side is 1, what does the left side have to be? Has to be 1. So what is 16 plus 16? 16 doubled is 32. Then we have to add our ones on the side. So 32, 33, 34. So P, perimeter, equals 34. I'm going to go P over here. P equals, perimeter equals 16. So far, which one has the smallest perimeter? And I'm just going to put meters. M for short. And it's not square meters because it's not an area. It's the outside, so it's just meters. Remember, area has square meters, perimeter just has meters. Okay, so right, B has the smaller one right now because 16 is less than 34. So right now it's going to be between B and D. Well, let's find out. Okay, if this side is 5, okay, so I'm going to need to add 5 plus 2. Oh goodness, that's 7. Okay, so right now I have 7 plus, what is this side length going to be? Well, if this whole length is 5, and I see it's just as tall as this, it's not 5 though, because we don't have, and you know what, I think an eraser is going to work much better for us right now. Okay. There we go. So, okay. So this whole side length is 5. I get that. That makes sense to me. Oops, I'm still on eraser, aren't I? Okay. This is 5. But right now, I only need this small amount. So here's 5, but I get to take away this part. So 5 take away 2, because that's how much is being taken off, is 3. So this side length is 3. 3, 2, and 5. Do we know all of our side lengths now? Yes, we do. I already started adding them, but let's see if I can do it this way. 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. 15 plus 3 is 18. And 18 plus 2 is 20. So perimeter equals 20. Remember, they wanted to find the smallest perimeter so they didn't have to spend so much money. Because if we spent money on this one, we would be paying for 34 meters of fence, whereas the other ones, we would only have to pay for 20 meters of fence or 16 meters of fences. So which one should we choose? We should definitely go with garden B, because 16 is less than 20 and 34. So I'm going to put B, garden B, although they all have the same area, right? They're all 16 square meters for area. This B has the smaller perimeter. Now I want you to explain, how did you find the perimeter of the shape? So in your own words, how did we find perimeter? Amazing job, third grade. You can go ahead onto math boxes when you finish.